There's several circumstances recognized in the Texas Penal Code where the power differential between two people makes it such that consent cannot be considered effective when it comes to sexual relationships. In other words, the differential in power between, say, a correctional officer and an inmate, or a teacher and a student of a certain age, make it such that the inmate or student might express consent to a sexual act, but may be actually doing so for fear of negative consequences by the officer or teacher who has a great degree of control over their life. In this screencast, we'll talk about the Texas Penal Code offense of improper relationship between educator and student. First, in this section, it's important to distinguish that for this offense and this offense only, sexual contact means any touching by an employee of the anus, breast, or any part of the genitals of a person enrolled in a public or private, primary or secondary school at which the employee works, or any touching by an employee of the anus, breast, or any part of the genitals of a student participant in an educational activity in which enrolled students are the primary participants sponsored by a school district or a public or private primary or secondary school, and if this touching is committed with the intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of any person. Keep in mind, what distinguishes the definition of sexual contact in this offense compared to other penal code offenses that contain this definition is that sexual contact here refers exclusively to sexual contact between an employee and student or student participant. Otherwise, the definition is practically the same. An actor commits this offense when they are an employee of a public or private elementary, middle, or high school, and they engage in sexual contact, intercourse, or deviate sexual intercourse with a person enrolled at the school. The offense is also committed by an educator, volunteer, or an employee of a public or private elementary, middle, or high school who engages in sexual contact, intercourse, or deviate sexual intercourse with a person the actor knows is enrolled in a public or private school, or who is a student participant in an activity sponsored by the school or school district. Or finally, this offense is committed by an employee of a public or private elementary, middle, or high school who commits the offense of online solicitation of a minor with a person they know is a student enrolled at their school in their same school district or a participant at a student activity in their same school district. All offenses of improper relationship between educator and student are felonies of the second degree. So note, the elements of this offense don't necessarily require another sexual offense we might traditionally think of as being committed between an adult teacher and a child student. Of course, if there is an extreme age difference outside the scope of the Romeo and Juliet affirmative defenses for, say, sexual assault and aggravated sexual assault, then those offenses may apply as well. The distinction of this offense is the actor and victim status as teacher and student. To illustrate, there may be an instance in a high school with, for example, a 21-year-old teacher and a 17-year-old student in which the sex is completely consensual and not otherwise an offense. But the relationship between the two, teacher and student, makes it illegal under this statute. Of course, the statute includes only elementary through high school, so the same relationship between a 21-year-old tutor and a 17-year-old student at a university, community college, or junior college setting is not illegal, though it may be a violation of that school's administrative policy. There is a Romeo and Juliet affirmative defense to this statute, but it's pretty narrow. The affirmative defense may be raised if the actor is married to the student or the actor was not more than 3 years older than the enrolled person, and the parties had a relationship prior to employment of the actor at the school. The Penal Code adds several stipulations regarding the release of information pertaining to this offense. First, according to the Penal Code, the name of the student involved may not be released to the public and is not public information. Next, a public or private primary or secondary school may not release externally to the general public the name of an employee of the school who is accused of committing this offense until the employee is indicted for the offense by a grand jury. This doesn't include releasing the name to the Texas Education Agency, another state agency, or local law enforcement, or as otherwise required by law, or to the school members or community in accordance with the school's policies or procedures, or with the religious law observed by the school, and this also doesn't include releasing the name as necessary to other proper authorities in order to conduct an investigation of the accusation.